Over nearly 2 millennia, the Elamites established a formidable kingdom in a region called Elam, experiencing periods of both dominance and decline much like their Mesopotamian neighbors. Around 1500 BC, as the great powers of the Near East formed the illustrious Great Powers Club, the Elamite Middle Kingdom emerged. This era featured three dynamic dynasties that held sway until approximately 1100 BC. The rise of the Elamites during this period was shaped by their successes in earlier eras and bolstered by fresh ideas in trade and governance introduced by capable and vigorous kings. The Elamites also seized the opportunity presented by the Bronze Age collapse, which had a significant impact on the members of the Great Powers Club. The heartland of the Elamite civilization was located in Khuzestan, a region in southwestern Iran. The focal point of Elamite history was the city of Susa and its surroundings. Although Susa was the nucleus of their dominion, regions like Fars in the Zagros Mountains and Anshan were also regarded as part of historical Elam. The territorial control of specific Elamite dynasties varied, but Susa consistently served as the starting point for their expansion. The origins of Elamite culture can be traced back to Susa during the early 3rd millennium BC. While the early Elamite culture, often referred to as Proto-Elamite, had a more Iranian character, it drew inspiration from Mesopotamia, particularly in the realm of writing. Elamite writing developed around the same time as Mesopotamia's, around 3100 BC, and utilized a cuneiform script, suggesting Mesopotamian influence on the Elamites. Although the corpus of Elamite texts from this period is limited, it includes seals inscribed with single words and intriguing accounting tables. Some of these tables, dating from 3100 to 2900 BC, provide evidence of the Elamites' understanding and application of advanced mathematical theories and accounting methods, demonstrating their relatively early advancement. Despite the considerable knowledge about early Elamite history, certain aspects of the Elamites, such as their language and ethnicity, remain mysterious. The Elamite language has been deciphered, but it appears unrelated to other languages. In earlier periods, royal and monumental inscriptions often used the Akkadian language. However, by the Middle Elamite period, the Elamite language was employed in conjunction with cuneiform script. The ethnic composition of the Elamites also remains uncertain, but during the historical period, they encompassed various cultural backgrounds from within the region. The Elamites began to play a more significant role in the geopolitics of the Near East during the Old Elamite period. They contributed to the collapse of the Ur-III dynasty, enabling them to establish a presence in southern Mesopotamia. This expansion continued for nearly 3 centuries until it was halted by Hammurabi of Babylon, who sought to establish his kingdom as the preeminent power in the region. After a hiatus of about 2 centuries, the Elamites reasserted themselves in the region. Around 1500 BC, when the major kingdoms of the Near East were on the brink of their greatest imperial expansions and the Great Powers Club was taking shape, the Elamites were consolidating their control over Elam. Setting out from Susa, they united the region surrounding their capital with the highlands to the south near Anshan, thus forming the Middle Elamite Kingdom. This kingdom, comprised of 3 different dynasties, would emerge as the most influential Elamite state in history. During this period, the Elamite rulers established a sophisticated and modern administrative state. They engaged in diplomatic exchanges with the Babylonians and later with the Assyrians. They also maintained indirect communication with regions further to the west through trade. One of the prominent figures of this era was King Untashnapirsha, who ruled from approximately 1275 to 1240 BC. He founded a new city, Al-Untashnapirisha, located about 25 miles southeast of Susa. This city was dedicated to Inshushinak, the patron god of Susa, and featured a prominent ziggurat at its core, reminiscent of Mesopotamian temple complexes. However, the ziggurat at Al-Untashnapirisha was distinctive in many ways. Numerous bricks used in its construction bore Elamite cuneiform inscriptions, and the city yielded a wealth of archaeological treasures, including a life-size bronze statue of Untashnapirisha's queen, Naparasu. Despite these achievements, Al-Untashnapirisha was largely abandoned after his reign. Subsequent rulers of the Middle Elamite Kingdom discovered new opportunities for expansion in Mesopotamia. Around 1200 BC, the ancient Near East found itself in a state of upheaval. Migrations and invasions had thrown the powerful kingdoms into disarray. The Egyptians faced challenges from the Sea Peoples and Libyans, the Hittite Empire crumbled at the hands of the Sea Peoples and Phrygians, and the Levant suffered devastation from the Sea Peoples. Even Babylonia was not spared, as it endured attacks by Aramaeans and Chaldeans. Amidst this tumultuous period, the Elamites managed to emerge relatively unscathed, paving the way for the rise of the formidable Shutrikid dynasty. The Shutrikid rulers, marking the pinnacle of Elamite power, embarked on a transformation of Susa, making it a beacon of their might. Simultaneously, they pursued an ambitious military campaign, capitalizing on the prevailing confusion in Mesopotamia. In 1155 BC, King Shutruk-Nahant, who reigned from approximately 1185 to 1155 BC, led an Elamite army into Babylonia, toppling the Kassite Babylonian dynasty. The Elamite king and his successors proceeded to plunder Babylon, taking with them some of the city's most renowned works of art, including the Victory Stela of Naram Sin and the Law Code of Hammurabi. These treasures were transported to Elam, an event documented in an Akkadian text known as the Prophecy of Marduk. A ruler will arise, he will rule for 13 years. There will be an attack of Elam against Akkad, and the booty of Akkad will be carried off. The temples of the Greek gods will be destroyed. The defeat of Akkad will be decreed by the gods. There will be confusion, disturbance, and unhappy events in the land, and the reign will diminish in power. Another man, whose name is not mentioned, as a successor, will arise, and will seize the throne as king and will put to death his officials. He will fill the corpses of half the army, the lowlands of Tuplaish, open and level ground, and the people of the land will experience a severe famine. Following Shutruk-Nahant, his successor and son, Kudur-Nahant, held sway over Babylon and is believed to have transported the sacred statue of Marduk to Susa. Subsequently, during the rule of Shilak in Shushanak, Elam retained control over the Tigris River region. However, their domination was brought to an end by Nebuchadnezzar I, reigned around 1125 to 1104 BC, the king of Isin, who thwarted Elamite expansion into Mesopotamia. This marked the beginning of the collapse of the Elamite Middle Kingdom, plunging Elam into another period of obscurity. In conclusion, the Elamites have left a significant imprint on the history of ancient Persia and the Near East. Despite humble beginnings, they rose to become a powerful force in the late Bronze Age. Their ascendancy was the result of unifying their land under capable rulers who introduced advanced building, trade, and diplomatic strategies. Yet, the Elamites were also skilled in seizing opportunities amidst the turmoil that marked the end of the Bronze Age. Despite their eventual decline, they were once a dominant force in the world of the Bronze Age.